I fucking loved FNAF 2. Like, really, really loved it. It's an easy 9.5 out of 10, and I'll explain where the other 0.5 went. But before I dive into that, I'll just tell you what I did both leading up to the movie's release and during it. So funnily enough, it literally only started 2 days before the movie release. Yeah, really. Some old friend of mine texted the group chat basically organizing the trip to the theater with us. We went over really local shit that I'm not gonna get into because I don't want to SS sniper with myself. He paid for the tickets, we gave him his money back. But here's the funny thing. While we were deciding what seats to choose, there were like 25 seats people already paid for, so there was conveniently only 4 seats left on the row we wanted to sit in. Yes, there were 4 of us. When we looked at that, we knew quite a bit of people were going to show up. Fast forward to the movie's release day, I was the first to show up, and holy shit, the first thing I noticed was that the place was packed. I expected quite a bit of people, but damn, I haven't seen this many people show up since Across the Spider-Verse. People were also lining up to buy popcorn in 2025. Yes, this was gonna be the biggest theatrical event I've ever experienced since the goddamn second Spider-Verse movie. I'm hyped for Beyond, by the way. So we make it into the theater room, the movie starts, and people were fucking screaming throughout the whole movie, especially when the one fight fans have been asking for was finally brought to life. I'm not gonna spoil it for the time being because I want to recount my experience without ruining someone else's experience, but yeah, all you need to know is that the fight I'm talking about is FNAF's equivalent to Captain America wielding Mjolnir. I wish I was joking when saying that. That's how loud my theater screamed, and I was loving every second of it. Not gonna lie, I also wanted to scream. It's actually top 5 theater experiences I've ever had the pleasure of being there for. Oh, and my god, even Marvel's recent post-credit scenes that reminded us why we loved them so much could not compare to this movie's post-credit scene. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, get the fuck out of here. FNAF 2 has the title of the best post-credit scene of the decade. A $20 million movie has a better post-credit scene than a $180 million one. We are living in the most insane fucking timeline ever. Now let's get into where the other 0.5 for the movie's rating went, which will include spoilers. The opening scene with Charlie was almost perfect, but unfortunately the writing in this scene was too bad to ignore, which if this movie's being written by the same dude who wrote Secret of the Mimic, it's really odd to consider. The adults are seeing this girl who's desperately asking for help because something's very clearly fucked up going on in this place, and they're just like, go fuck off. Now, I get it, 1982 was a wildly different time, but I do not believe for a second people would react like this. Like, at least see what she's up to. The worst part is, I can see this scenario working really well. Have the adults either ignore her or be like, what do you want? Someone's being hunted by a big yellow bunny. Yeah, right. Kids and their silly rumors these days. Other than that, this scene would have been pure perfection. Another kind of like, I guess, sub-reason is that Abby's teacher is a huge asshole. Now that in itself isn't a problem. I mean, we all had asshole teachers before who we wished were fired, but him getting Abby intentionally kicked out of the science fair event at the school in front of her face twice? Hey, at least he admitted so. I desperately wish he died more than any other character, so there's that. But I still feel like he should have been less outrageously aggressive towards the girl. The next 2 things are just pure nitpick. So I really like the designs of the puppets' 3 merged forms, except I like because I hate Abby's. That's it, I just hate it. Now we have Michael Afton's reveal, which I'm not against, but I feel like I wouldn't be on the verge of rolling my eyes if it was built up from the first movie. I don't know, maybe I missed something incredibly small that changes everything, which I highly doubt because I feel like everyone would have pointed it out by now and I would have known, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't mind Michael Afton's reveal. I would have personally preferred if Mike Schmidt was the stand-in for Michael Afton in this movie, since in the game they're the same person and Josh's character plays the protagonist role just like Michael in the games. I'll give more of my thoughts on him later, but for now that's where all the 0.5 on my ratings went, and now let's talk about the other 9.5. The acting is one of the major criticisms of the movie I've seen so far, and I have to disagree. Not that these are Robert Downey Jr. levels of acting, but I still feel like the actors did their jobs perfectly fine, especially Freddie Carter. This dude was just straight up the character he was written as. His acting was top notch. But that's not really who stood out to me. Yep, MatPat. Okay, I've known that MatPat's a good actor for a while now. I mean, look at him in FNAF the musical. Everyone can agree that he's the best actor in the musical. If not, he's definitely top 3. But holy shit, I did not expect Toy Bonnie to sound absolutely nothing like him. Yeah, I know, I get it. They pitched up his vocals in post-production, but even then, I feel like I should hear a bit of MatPat's voice. And one of my friends I went to see the movie with told me he did hear a resemblance, but I couldn't for the life of me hear MatPat at all. All I heard was what Toy Bonnie would realistically sound like. How the fuck can a YouTuber with a long history of memes be a legendary voice actor? This shouldn't be possible. Also, Korex Kenshin was funny as fuck, and I hope he cameos again for the 3rd movie. I'm not even a fan of him, he's just pure comedy gold. Now on to the characters, they're really good. We get more scenes between Mike and Abby, and man, I really love their chemistry. Seeing how their relationship evolved after their money problem was fixed is just amazing. Like, they really added this thing where Mike buys breakfast for him and Abby every day. It's not much, but it's little stuff like this that brings these characters to life. I'm also much more happy with Vanessa's character this time around. Making her have ties with Charlie by establishing that they were childhood friends adds so much more depth to her character, and seeing how she copes with her own trauma of her dad was really effective. That dream sequence was peak. I like the dream sequences of the first movie, but this one singular dream sequence combined everything good about the first movie's dreams into one. It perfectly mirrors Mike going through his child and adult self, with Vanessa doing the same thing and shot almost the same way as well. Really, the big differences are the settings and the endings. This makes it so that the dream sequences in these movies can keep on appearing while still having a reason to exist. In the first movie, it was for Mike to explore the day his brother died to find out what happened to him. And in this one, it was to show how the man who killed the little boy's daughter copes with her trauma from being his daughter. If the pattern continues in the 3rd movie, I can expect Abby to have dreams about her friends and see how much they mean to her. I see these characters as the trinity of the FNAF movies, which is why I chose Abby as a likely candidate. Also, the short stuff with Henry genuinely hit so hard. This is the character ripped straight out of FNAF 6. We get to see his guilt from leaving his daughter out to die, the tiny music box that put his daughter to sleep, and we even get a tape recording at the end of the credits. This is pure tragedy written by the same dude who wrote Secret of the Mimic, and I fucking loved Edwin's characterization in that game. Now all we need is him burning down the building with both him and Springtrap in it to put all of this paranormal shit to rest. I feel like I'm actually going to cry when that happens. Speaking of William, yeah, I'm glad they didn't go the lazy way out and give him a super tragic backstory to either justify or give him a reason to do this shit. He is just an insane motherfucker who kills kids, and this movie only painted him in an even worse light this time. I didn't even know that was possible, but hey, they outdid the first movie, and I'll get into what this movie also outdid in a bit. We also have and she's basically the same as her dad, short but powerful. The character isn't touched up a lot on, but damn, she's so well done in this movie. She just feels anger for how her life ended and feels the need to get violent to show the world the pain she went through. That's tragedy in another form. Henry represented regret, while he represented anger. These two contrast so perfectly with each other, it's so good. And then we have Michael. I'm gonna be honest, he's kind of my least favorite character in the movie. Again, he just appeared in this movie without build-up from the first, but hey, he's just pure insanity. This movie basically asks the question, what if Michael Lapton went insane much earlier in his life? It's arguable that in the games he just went too crazy into his life to go down the bad path and still knew that the right thing to do was put an end to the paranormal shit. In this universe, he went insane earlier in his life, and by the time he knew what he was doing wasn't right, he couldn't care less. So yeah, that's all the characters, so I think it's time to move on to the It's great. I'll just quickly go over it. Just note this isn't going to be 100% accurate. This just gives a basic outline to remember what the story was like to fully give my opinion on it. So basically we get a flashback from 1982 where William kills then she becomes the puppet. 20 years later, a famous TV crew exploring creepy places visits the same Freddy's location this murder took place in, and then a random guy by the name Michael, who doesn't look creepy at all, gives them a tour. The obligatory girl character in a horror movie meant specifically to get killed goes to check on something suspicious to then get killed by the puppet, and then Charlie's spirit takes control over her body. The rest of the crew slowly gets killed except for very predictably Michael. We cut back to our FNAF Trinity. Mike and Abby are renovating their houses after their money problem is resolved while Vanessa's coping with her trauma. Abby has beef with her tech teacher when it comes to the science fair at her new school, so a chain of events lead up to her finding the original 1982 Freddy's location and bringing Toy Chica to her science fair. But Abby has to free the animatronics to do that, so now they're all going on a rampage to kill their parents who let them to die. Mike and Vanessa are on a mission to hunt them down, but Charlie found her way to Mike's house with Abby inside. I literally forgot why she's here. But thankfully, earlier in the movie, Mike went to Henry's house, William's business partner and creator of the puppet, and he gave Mike a music box that always put Charlie to sleep. So a well-executed scene of Vanessa trying to survive puppet fight Abby takes place, but then Mike shows up with the music box and Abby returns to normal. Unfortunately, the other Michael shows up and the animatronics come back to life to show up to Mike's house. Not confusing at all. So Mike goes back to the FNAF 1 location to beg for their help, and then they fucking annihilate the toy animatronics, but then the Golden Freddy spirit appears to tell them that in doing this, they no longer have the yellow rabbit under their watch, so they all go somewhere safe, but then Mike tells Vanessa to stay here and fuck off because she's just been ruining his life ever since they met. So they leave Vanessa all alone with Charlie still in the house, so we get left on a cliffhanger with a copy and pasted design of the obligatory girl character in a horror movie who got killed. Not a complaint, by the way, because I already listed all of them in the beginning of this video, you fucking dumbass. That was a joke, please don't take this video down. Then the greatest post-credit scene of the 2020s happens where some dudes look in the ruins of the FNAF 1 building to find Springtrap and take him to a horror attraction. After that, the credits roll and Henry records a tape basically warning Mike about the animatronics and how dangerous his daughter is now that she's free. You see what I mean when I say this character's ripped straight out of FNAF 6? This isn't a comic book movie, but holy hell, it's the most comic accurate movie I've ever seen since in a long fucking time. Okay, Fantastic Four's definitely up there, but still, now that that's over, I'll go why I like it. I saw some dude, a YouTuber who I really respect, might I add, criticize Mike's betrayal for being so stupid. So to go in depth into why I liked Mike's betrayal of Vanessa, yeah, she's just been ruining his life. What could she have done in the first movie? Tell Mike she's the daughter of this so-called Steve Raglan and that he's a dangerous man who he shouldn't be working for. Oh, but she did. Yeah, in the fifth fucking night. The movie is called Five Nights at Freddy's. She should have said something in the first night. And did she mention her brother Michael before? Nope. She only considered telling Mike about these two deranged dudes on the fifth night in both movies. Having a friend who's related to these two guys and doesn't tell you about either of them is worse than her not being there at all. Oh, but maybe she'll tell him this time. When do we say enough is enough? Both times. Both his and his sister's life were almost taken away because she didn't say a word. Oh, but she didn't cause any harm to him. Yes, she fucking did. The only reason William showed up on the fifth night in the first movie was because of her monumental fuck up. Oh, but she regrets it. Yeah, well, that doesn't fucking excuse it, does it? Mike has all the right in the world to abandon her. Now that I'm done defending that, what else do I like? Well, I like how Charlie's role in this movie is completely different from the games. Because, okay, look, this review is gonna mention Fantastic Four quite a bit, but I think it's the most justified here. Fantastic Four first steps didn't adapt Galactus 1-to-1 from the comics because while that version of the character may have worked in the comics, there just isn't enough content for a movie there, so they decided to make him want Franklin Richards for his cosmic powers. That add-on worked because it works in the movie format while not sacrificing his character. Same goes for Charlie in FNAF 2. If she was adapted 1-to-1 from the games, there just wouldn't be enough content for a movie, especially not a sequel that's supposed to raise the stakes as really high as this, so they made it so that she's angry at the world, wants to hurt as many people as possible to show them the pain she went through, and made her powerful enough to merge with people. The basic stuff from the games is still there. Her dad's Henry Emily, she was killed by his business partner William Afton, she became the puppet, and the music box calms her down. I also like how they're giving us more background on the origins of Fazbear Entertainment. There has still been no mention of Fredbear's, but if the pattern continues, it's gonna get revealed in FNAF 3. We're probably going to see the location at its prime and hint at some incident that closed the restaurant down and then they repurpose Fredbear into Golden Freddy and Spring Bonnie into a child murderer. Not gonna lie, quite an improvement. I really like Spring Bonnie's development if that's the case. Okay, all jokes aside, I believe in the FNAF 4 movie. Yes, it's actually a thing. They're expanding the franchise beyond its original trilogy. They're going to show us the infamous bite of... Okay, whatever this universe's version of the Bite of 83 ends up being. Okay, now we're done with the stories and now we're moving on to... I'm grouping these two things together because, well, it's a horror movie. These things should be grouped together. I am so grateful for how motherfucking violent this movie is. I walked out of the theater saying, holy fuck, Toy Chica straight up just went Omni-Man on that teacher. And then me and my friends went to one of their houses, the one who ordered the tickets, and one of them showed me this meme confirming I wasn't alone in this. The kills were absolutely brutal in this movie compared to the first one where they had me laughing so hard. Like, bro, at least make it sound like you're actually scared. Nah, wait, look at this. Bro, who the fuck thought this was scary enough to leave in a movie? Meanwhile, in FNAF 2, we get Toy Chica saying,
I want is to see what's going on inside of your head.
And then she fucking crushed his skull. And bro, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when Vanessa had to pull over, but Mango was right fucking there breaking the driver's seat window, so she tried to go to the passenger seat as fast as she could go while panicking for her life. And the scene just lets the tension rise and do its thing. Oh yeah, this is where I'm bridging the connection between horror and the violence. Now, I get where people are coming from when they say they want this movie to be rated R, but this movie's proof that it doesn't have to be that violent to be scary. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I can't handle that, I'm just saying it isn't necessary. I'm also not saying this movie is really scary. In fact, it isn't, but it didn't need to sacrifice its PG-13 rating for this kill to be possible. Let me tell you something, blood doesn't equal scary. I see blood as when the scene tells you to stop being scared because the dumbass is already dead by that point. Now yes, it can be used in different ways, but the presence of blood in those scenes don't automatically make it scary. Plus, those other contexts can be used in PG-13. This movie managed to be so much more violent than the first one without sacrificing its rating, and as a result, the horror was much more effective, not because of blood, but because you can feel the force this chicken used to crush this man's head. Also, that balloon boy bit, that was the only thing in the first movie that gave me any reaction other than laughter. Yeah, they used it quite a lot here, like a lot, and for 90% of the time, it's always when you least expect it. But that last 10%, it kind of gets predictable and super repetitive, but it's 10%, so it's all good. Overall, I'm glad they went further away from shitty jump scares and lead more into the Spider-Verse. Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't resist making that joke. And lead in more into the action. It's fire. They remixed the first movie's main theme to make it slightly more echoey, and it's cool. Also, you gotta listen to 1982 Shugu. It's fantastic. Here, let me play 5 seconds of it. Okay, there it is. Go listen to the full thing yourself. It's really good. Anyway, I don't have a lot of things to say, so... They are amazing. You thought the animatronics from the first movie looked good? Motherfucker, these designs were ripped straight out of the game. The only difference is the movie design feels more plasticky and shinier, which helps a lot. It gives them more of that toy look that we've come to know and love. Toy Freddy is just as chubby as we love him. Toy Bonnie is just as cute as we love him. Toy Chica is just as ugly, but we pretend that she's hot for some reason as we love her. And Mango is just as threatening as ever. The Withers, I mean, what do you want me to say? They look exactly the way they did in FNAF 2, and also fuck Balloon Boy. He's completely accurate to the game, which makes me hate him so much. But I gotta say, the most faithful design in this movie has gotta be the puppet. Holy fucking hell, the puppet has this unsettling design that's not really that creepy, but it's so creepy at the same time, and they captured that to a T in this movie. Oh, and the one character I left out is Springtrap. Holy hell, I'm so excited. I do have a couple problems, mostly his head, but this design is close to perfect and I don't expect this to be the final version. The designers of this movie are wonderful. Keep up the good work. I don't have anything else to say about this movie, so I'll just wrap it up here. This movie is a 9.5 out of 10 and I'm not gonna change it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a dislike, avoid commenting on this video on all costs, unsubscribe from me, and click don't recommend this channel. Wait, isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Okay, yeah, anyway, bye.